Good morning. You know what day it is? Hump day. Mike. So, watched a documentary last night on Shania Twain. If you haven't seen it, it's spectacular. And it shows you all the stuff that we talk about all the time. She came from a tiny town in Canada. She came from a very lower middle class, even lower income family. She had no connections. She had no nothing. But from an early age, she knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted to be a singer. She was incredibly encouraged by her parents. And then when she met her first manager, she told him specifically what she wanted, that she wanted to be a success as a country western singer. She wanted to be a performer, but she wanted to also cross over all of the boundaries and be an international success. She set that goal out from the very beginning. And of course, we all know that she ended up having 3 of the most successful albums ever in a row. Huge international star, and she crossed over all the lines. She crossed over not just country western, she went into pop, she went into everything. I have a picture in my office of Michael Jordan, and it talks about all of the stuff that happened to him that went wrong. 3,000 shots that he missed, all the games that he lost, 26 times he was given the ball to take the last second shot and missed. We never think about the chances that people took that didn't work out. If you watch Shania Twain's, a lot of times when she first started out, she wasn't encouraged. She was encouraged at times, but then at times things went wrong and things didn't go the way that they were supposed to. And she didn't have immediate success. It took a little while. And then she had a lot of setbacks. Her parents were killed in a car wreck. We look at super successful people and we don't think about all the things that they had to go through in order to get there. And we don't think about the fact that they started out with an intention that whatever this outcome was that they got, that's what they set out to do. The Rock is one of my favorite stories, that he was going to be a football player. He wanted to be an NFL football player. He ended up losing his position to Warren Sapp in Miami. He didn't get drafted, so he ended up in the Canadian Football League, and then he got cut. So he ended up on a plane ride back. Coffee's done. And he had to call his dad to come pick him up because he only had $7 in his pocket. And he was humiliated. He said, at this point in my career, I was supposed to be buying my dad a new house, and instead I have to ask him for a ride, and I only had $7 in my pocket. Incidentally, that's why his production company and all of his stuff is named $7 to remind him of that time when his back was against that wall. And that is something that he wakes up every day and thinks about that hunger that he had at that time because he doesn't ever want to lose it. So he then goes into wrestling and has a tremendous wrestling career, but that's what his dad did. He wanted to do something different, and he was way more successful than his dad in wrestling. But then he went into Hollywood and he left a great wrestling career, and he said, I want to be the #1 box office male actor in the world. And they said, okay, well, you're not the prototypical guy doing this at 6'5". And he said, I know. And they said, how are you going to do that? And he said, I have no idea, but that is what we're going to do. And that's what he did. He had one year that he made $180 million. And if you notice, he makes 2 movies at a time. He does one action movie, and then he does one comedy movie. That's the formula that he's figured out how to do. And obviously it's worked out, and he's been incredibly successful. But even that didn't work out at the beginning. When he started out in wrestling he knew how to do because of his dad, but when he started making movies, they didn't work. His first couple of movies were flops, and he thought to himself, man, I left this great wrestling career, and he even went back and wrestled a little bit so that he could go do the movie, and then he got injured wrestling, and he still had to finish up a movie. So you don't realize when you look at these people that have made it to these positions where we talk about them, that they had setbacks along the way, that they've had failures along the way, that things haven't gone perfectly, but they know what they want. And they never take the failure as the end of the world. They take the failure as learning. What can I take away from this and move forward so that I can move on and get the result that I'm looking for. They don't stop. What's the difference? They have this hunger. They have this hunger and they have this drive. It's the old adage, if you knew you wouldn't fail, what would you try to accomplish? And they don't look at failure as failure. They look at it as learning. Sure, they have down days. Sure, they have days where they're like, man, I'm not sure if this is going to work out. But they always move forward and they always have that drive and they always have that hunger and they always focus on what they're going to achieve, not what's going wrong. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.